Travis Zollinger here with Zollinger Racing Products, and today we're going to be filming a install video on the billet steering post, installing it on this Polaris 2026 Boost Pro. You can find the parts at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. We're going to tear into the install here and get this knocked out for you in a couple minutes, and hopefully you enjoy our video.
If you want to pause your screen, here's the list of tools that you'll need to get this done.
This portion we're going to take and undo the handlebar clamp here, 5mm, 10mm end wrench, pop these bolts out here, and then you'll be able to take the clamp off of the post.
I'm going to time lapse as much as possible when wrenching.
Okay, that's all going to be separated from there now. Simple thing, like everybody with a Polaris knows, we're going to remove the side panels and the hood. The hood's pretty simple. It's just got a couple little quarter turns right here. And then it just comes forward a little bit off of these guys. Comes forward, and then you got to unplug the dash plug. And the hood comes right off, so I don't lose anything. You know what I mean? I know that this tool, we'll undo these two guys, and I'm pretty sure we got to get these units out of the way. These things have Loctite on them, so they can be kind of tight their first time coming out. It's a good idea to put Loctite back on them because they will rattle loose. So I'm pretty sure we have to get all of this junk out of the way, which this guy thing up, but it's kind of hidden by the gas cap, so let's see. Okay, sick. We're down to there. Got to get down to those, but this is going to get us a long way. Probably ought to keep that back on there while we're working on it. So nothing falls in the hole. Now, the only bad thing is the steering post is clear down here, and since this is a boost, it's going to be way harder to get into, but it's honestly not that bad. Rather than undoing that, undo that one.
In essence, we're going to remove that screw that he's removing here, and then those two pop clips that popped in the side, so we can lift up this body panel and get above the turbo.
Check that out. So by taking just those three things out, we can get a lot of access into this steering arm and these two bolts, and that's really as deep as we need to get.
Here are those two bolts on the steering post, and then we're also going to disconnect the steering arm.
So yeah, all I need to do is get a 15.
You could use a ratchet here, but we're just showing that you can use normal tools to get this done.
Okay. There's Loctite on these as well, so they take a minute to get loosened up. Still pretty tight. We're going to replace these steel bolts as well with some titanium ones to drop some weight while we're at this. This is the little pillow block that holds the steering post on the bottom. It's identical to the one on the top, and it's even the same as the one that holds the pitman arm over here. All three of those are exactly the same units. Like this. We're going to go ahead and replace these steel bolts with a couple of titanium bolts. Save half the weight, get rid of some steel. We'll weigh those and give you guys what that all weighs when we get these two bolts out. We are as far apart as we're going to go, then we get to go back together.
Replacing these steel OEM bolts is not required, but ZRP does have titanium replacement bolts that are much lighter.
So from there, we've got all the stock parts apart. There's the stock piece. Here's the one that's going in. We basically put it back in exactly how we took it out. But while we're apart, we've moved the steering stop down lower. It's down in another spot. This will interface with, man, all the way back to 2014 Pros, maybe even 2013s. Pro chassis, Axis chassis, and Matryx chassis. Pounds and ounces we'll go with. 1 pound, 11.6 ounces. 12.6 ounces. I was going to weigh the 6 steel bolts. So basically 175 grams with the stock bolts, 72 grams.
So that's over 100 grams saved. Here Travis is getting those bolts ready on the bottom of the steering post.
Just make sure the arm goes to the right hand side, looking at the sled like it did before. That way the steering stops will align correctly.
I'll show some inside shots of how it looks after this.
Now if you want to look down in here, you can see that the steering stops now engage with the frame, where the frame is a lot stronger. And the steering post is stronger, rather than being clear up here. We've moved the stop down lower in the frame.
Here's a shot of what he was attaching down below when he put that steering post in.
The 1-inch drop on my steering post, even though I'm 6'4", I like to drop my steering post down a little bit. The main thing that I've noticed is on my Avi pack, I run a vest, a climb vest, and I hook the mountain bar, the side hill bar, whatever you want to call it, the cheater bar. I hook that on my vest when I'm getting way low under trees from time to time. And I've noticed on this one with the 1-inch dropped steering post, I don't do that. We can turn the steering like that. Do we get the most? Has a couple flats on them, and they're 13 millimeter, so. Take your 13 millimeter wrench, hold the flats. Okay, nice and tight. So basically we just got to put all this junk back together. Make sure you didn't unplug any of your electrical switches and whatnot. Just gonna go back down here, pop into place, I hope. Just like that. Hex side up. Should be able to notice which side is up and down since you tore the out of it with your channel lock pliers. Then of course, when you're tightening it back up, make sure and chew it up some more with your pliers. Make sure and get your brake line and your cables all routed back up where they belong. We're going to be utilizing the stock steering clamp because it's actually a pretty nice piece that Polaris has. What did we lose? A little piece of plastic? Yeah, we're not going to be able to use that anymore. The stock post like so and keeps your wires. We don't use that anymore. We don't have a place for it on ours. So I don't know if you've noticed here, some little marks on the handlebars to center and then also set your angle. And like I say, I almost always run a 0 and they're pretty centered there. So we're going to go with that.
And that's putting the 0 in the notch.
In the notch, in the slot, in the gap. So we should be able to put all this stuff back together. I hope we're in the right spot. Oh, there it goes. It starts getting tight. Okay. Just basically everything in reverse. There's a couple notches up here in the very front where it fits down on. And then there's a couple little keeper alignment pins right here. Quarter turn. Plug your gauge cluster back in.
So at this point, we've reinstalled the billet steering post made by ZRP, which saves some weight. And we've put on these carbon fiber body panels, which also save some weight. Here's Travis again talking about the different height options available to purchase.
Dropping the steering post down an inch, like I say, I really like. We also offer a 2-inch drop, and then we offer a standard height for those that want to just keep the standard height.
So at this point, we're just locking all the side panels into place, and you're pretty much good to go.